Comerica Park. Game 1 tomorrow, 9:40 start time in Anaheim. Our thanks to our engineers today. Jenny Hornatsky back in our studios in Southfield. Jake Bragdon with us here at the ballpark. For my partner, Andy Dirks, I'm Dan Dickerson. Again, the final score, Tigers lose to the Philadelphia Phillies. Phillies take 2 out of 3 with a 6-2 win. Thanks for listening. Have a great evening, everyone.
Detroit Tigers baseball.
Brought to you by the Sam Bernstein Law Firm, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, General RV, Corewell Health, The D Las Vegas, Meyer, Comerica, Priority, UWM, and Little Caesars Pizza. Brought to you locally by Jack Demmer Ford, Northville Lumber, Jack Demmer Lincoln, McLaren Health, Metro Detroit Buick GMC dealers, and the Metro Detroit Chevrolet dealers.
This is the Detroit Tigers Radio Network. This Odyssey Sports broadcast has been presented by Health Markets. Shop for health insurance your way.
You almost had the comeback, Cats.
No. Just thank God that's over. All right. I mean, did you enjoy your day of development? I know I sure did. All right.
Well, thanks for listening. It was free.
Yeah, it's whatever, man. I tell you, that TV broadcast is something special. That's all I can tell you. Everything's great in Tigerland if you listen to Bally. All right. So, look, we'll keep this short and sweet because we got to get to the NBA draft. But I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy because I've been told you're not going to get a lot for Scooble. But per one Lynn Henning today, Jim Bowden, noted MLB executive who's now a member of the media, Jim Bowden saying today the Tigers are receiving overtures across the league about Tarek Skubal. Quote, Lynn, tons of fans will shriek, but the trade package for Skubal would be of such size and necessity for the Tigers. They make a deal if it's of appropriate abundance, and it very well could be, close quote. And look, if you poke around, you're starting to see other team writers talk about it, so there'll be plenty of people to call stupid who don't reside in this building. I just, for me, again, here's where I stand on it. You at least take the phone calls. You have a conversation. I'm not going to do one of these dumbass arguments with people. Oh, what are you going to do? Just give them away? No one ever said that.
No.
No one's ever said that.
But here's the other thing you could do, Mike. By taking the phone calls, you, in essence, play the teams off of each other. Hey, New York, Baltimore's saying this. What do you got?
You see the last thing I wrote in here?
Huh?
Why don't you go ahead and read that?
Hold on.
That's hell with you then. I'll do it. This is a test for Scott Harris, period. Do your job. Yeah. You know what your job is? To do what the Knicks did last night, right? To go out and get a deal done and you go, what did they give up? Oh, a bunch of picks no one cares about. If you're Scott Harris, all you have to do is gauge the marketplace on Skubal. Mm-hmm. If you don't take those calls, or if you don't, in a good faith manner, see and assess value, you're not doing your job. Now, ultimately, you're going to get put on blast if you accept a deal and it's bad, or if you don't and it ends up being amazing. But bottom line, Rico, national media now talking about this. And whether it's Atlanta, and you've seen some reports, the Astros, you've seen. Now, again, right off the rip, who could use Skubal? Baltimore, Yankees, Atlanta, Houston. There's 4, and I didn't have to think about it. I just look at it, and again, it's another day-to-day. You don't score more than 2 runs. It's a train wreck of a team. You can't watch them. Go ahead. Go get all fat, drunk, high, and sassy, beating up on the Angels, who are complete garbage juice. No one cares. You're damn near 20 games out of first. I'm done. Sell Flaherty, assess the price on Skubal. But I wanted to know your guys' thoughts in this one regard. The fact that now you're hearing people outside of Detroit talk about the Skubal thing, do you just want to call them stupid too? Should we send them Valenti and Rico t-shirts to wear since we're idiots? Maybe a cookie jar reset, and you can get a Jim Costa coffee mug because apparently he's an idiot too because he dares to talk about let's see what Skubal could get us.
Let's not forget about Rieger.
Because but here's why.
Yeah.
Here's why. Because I'm still watching Akil Baddoo in my outfield. I'm still trotting out Mark Canha, who since May 1st, the only guy he's better than on this team is Baez, and he's dead. Mm-hmm. Like, who am I blocking? Where's all the help?
According to your manager, you got 3 all-stars on this team.
Yeah, in Japan.
Yeah.
Look, bottom line, I'd like to know what your thoughts are. Because, again, I'll say it for the people in the back who clearly have listening comprehension issues. I don't have to trade Skubal. I'm not taking 60 or 70 or 75 cents on the dollar. And if there's no appropriate deal, then there's no deal at all. But if the league is calling, do you believe Scott Harris should be listening? Yes or no? Full stop.
Yeah, it's why I said, for me, Scott Harris has until the end of the trade deadline this year. You go out there and you make a blockbuster trade, and you know what? I'm going to forget about last year, Nerod. I'm going to forget about what you didn't do in the offseason. And it's like, okay, we're moving on, and I'll reset the clock and start it all over again if you do the right thing this upcoming trade deadline. That's why I'm holding off all judgment, because the opportunity is going to be there, Mike. You know people. I know people. You hear things. They are teams out there that seriously need an all-star left-handed pitcher, and they're going to offer you the world. Why? Because they don't care about next year and the year after that. They want to win a title this season. So whoever you want, we'll make it happen. This is where, as you say, you do your job. Come up with the shrewdest deal. Now, if in the end you feel like, you know what, all of these deals are bad, okay, maybe you did your homework, but at least you took the phone calls, you tried, and it's not about, you're not going to spit out some rhetoric saying, well, I didn't want to block anybody, or I thought the guys we got coming up. No, you have an opportunity. You're not going to win a World Series this year. You have an opportunity to hit the reset button. You have the opportunity to start really building that core, because the core that you think that you have, you really don't. Maybe you have 2 pieces now. You need at least 3 more pieces. This trade could get you those pieces.
248-539-9797. It's just real simple to me. Should Scott Harris be fielding offers? The answer is yes. Doesn't mean you're making a deal. Doesn't mean you're doing something stupid. But I don't operate scared. And the last I checked, you haven't won a title in 40 years. So you know what? Are we any closer to winning one right now in year 2 of Harris? No. And if I got to hear another thing about Max Clark, who wouldn't be up here until 2026, my head's going to explode. Max Clark might be a fabulous baseball player. It has no bearing on how I'm running my team right now. Players that are 2 years away and 2 levels from being 2 levels away, I'm not interested in talking about. But hey, if you want to put on your Tigers jams and watch Max Clark prom videos, do your thing. I'm not interested. By the time Clark gets here, I'd hope we'd be a playoff team. And then I bring Max Clark up, and he hits in the bottom third of my order with limited pressure because I have adults in the order. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to know where you're at because Jim Bowden is saying you're getting overtures from across the league. And Lynn Henning, if you like Lynn, great. If you think Lynn sucks, that's your prerogative. Bottom line, Lynn's saying they ought to at least take a listen. So if you think I'm just a horse's ass, that's fine. What do you say about these people? Go ahead. Let's just discredit them while we're at it, right? God forbid they have an opinion about your blessed baseball team who never wins anything. Bottom line, you should be listening. And what I want is, Scott Harris, show me. Don't talk about it in your little broadcaster podcast. Show me. Show me the acumen you clearly think you have. Show us. Dazzle us with your big brain. Show us how you could rob somebody blind. Mm-hmm. Show us how you could add the prospects to the system that Al Avila didn't leave you. Even though your only good players are Al Avila's players. So, yes, to me, ring, ring. Let's listen. Never once have I gone on the air and just demanded. I get so upset. I get so pissed. I got to be honest. It's like I'm talking to children. I just feel like we have to listen.
Well, that's your job. And you're going to get, and the thing is, with multiple teams, good teams in baseball who are desperate for starting pitchers, especially a left-hander, you'll be able to play these deals off of each other and say, hey, you know what?
If you're good at your job.
Yeah, I got this. They're talking this guy. Really? I like you. I can work with you, but you got to sweeten that deal. You could get a haul that will help reset this team. You know what you'll get? Bats. You'll get consistent bats.
Hey, what are these numbers, Rico? Just while we're hanging out, having a good time, chopping it up at the bar together. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Set, go. 0, 13, 1, 1, 1, 0, 2, 1, 11, 1, 4, 2.
The amount of runs the Tigers have scored in the last,
12 games.
12 games.
It's a non-functional baseball team. And by the way.
But what about the 11?
No. I don't want to hear about development. Look, yes, Riley Green's a good baseball player. Colt Keith is a good offensive player. Here's the problem. He's the single worst second baseman defensively in baseball. He's going to need to move positions probably. But outside of those two, you don't get to tell me about development when I'm looking at Carson Kelly and Akil Baddoo and Urshela's Pelvis and Mark Canha, who hasn't hit a beach ball since May 1st. You know, the other thing I like, how this organization keeps moving the goalposts. You know what we ought to do? We should have Matt Vierling Day at the ballpark. We should just forget about the new scoreboard. I want a gigantic LED wall of Matt Vierling. Because apparently he's the new Al Kaline. Matt Vierling, face of franchise. Like, for a guy with a 700 OPS. I can't believe how the people affiliated with this team or people who are just super fans desperately try to move the goalposts. Rico, as long as you are trotting out 4, 5, 6 AAA ball players every day, that's not development. Mm-hmm. And Jace Young, when he gets healthy, can't play third base. So now he's got to move, probably back to second, which means Keith has to move and learn a new position and go play first. None of which fixes shortstop or your outfield spots. And forget about catcher because eventually you'll have Dingler up here, but let's face it. Having a good offensive catcher, how many of those are in the league? What? Maldonado, yeah. Will Smith, Adley Rutschman? Who? I mean, Christ, my Yankees have a guy with no arms. If I got to watch Trevino catch another game, Rico just had 3 steals. Ellie Dela Cruz, F him. Ellie Dela Rico. Like, catch, it's really hard to have a good catcher. So maybe Dingler's good, maybe he's not. But I don't put pressure on the catcher position. Catch a good game, be a good defensive player, and God willing, don't be a total embarrassment at the plate. It's really hard to find a good catcher.
No, it is. It is.
But or Contreras in Milwaukee, maybe. I don't know.
But yeah, you gotta do your job. You gotta listen to every deal, and you can help reset this team because, guys, I know there are a lot of people who'll say, "Hey, why do you have to get rid of your stars? Let's keep him here. We can build around him. He's a part of the core." Let's have that long look in the mirror. You're not a World Series team.
And it's from Lynn Henning.
You're not
from Jim Bowden.
Yeah, you're not a wild card team.
Not stupid Rico. Huh? It's from national people.
So
Easy to discredit him. What? I didn't call you stupid, by the way. Hey, being number one.
Thought it was personal. Okay.
No, not at all. All right, do your thing. We'll get to the phone calls, get NBA draft going in the 5 o'clock hour because no one knows anything about the NBA draft. But I have a question, and we'll get to it. Your call's next, 97.1. All right, national media is now picking up on it. According to Jim Bowden, Lynn Henning, bottom line, Tigers are getting overtures on Skubal. And look, part of that's diligence by other teams. Lots of phone calls happen without reports. The whole point is, are you listening? That's all we're asking for. I'm not demanding he has to be traded. I'm not taking less. I'm not selling short. But I think it's time for Scott Harris to have to do his job in a forward-facing manner. This hasn't gone well. You're 2 years in. You don't have a lineup. There's not really a lot more help in the immediate future on the way. Please do not sell me players that are at West Michigan. Please do not talk about guys that will not be here even to debut till 2026. Do you listen on Skubal? My answer is yes. If you say no, I need reasons why. Other than you have a Kirk Gibson jersey on, or you have Tiger Jam Jams, or you're listening to 8 tracks of Ernie. Okay.
Oh, no, other than that, they're just going to say, well, he's our guy.
I don't care.
We why do we always have to get rid of our superstars here in Detroit?
You don't always have to get rid of your superstars. And if Jackson Jobe is actually as good as you think he is, there's your replacement. Bring him up.
Yeah, it's just a coincidence that I think we're both saying you probably need to move from Skubal and Cade Cunningham. Two different sports, but
No, but in a lot
both
of
make
ways,
sense.
Trajan Langdon, he has to show competency tonight.
Yeah.
Meaning, look, if there's a deal to be had, if there's some chicanery, if you will, I'd like to have one of our GMs be the guy to do it.
Yeah.
Wow, they moved from 5 and got the Grizzlies to give up what?
And think
I want that.
Yeah, and think about this, Mike. The last time some teams in this city had success, they moved some sacred cows. They got rid of Grant Hill. They let him walk. All of a sudden, you got to go into work Pistons, right? Hey, the Lions, Matthew Stafford. Oh, he's our guy. Well, not anymore. We're going to go ahead and move him to the Rams for some draft picks, and Jared Goff, we're going to start all over again.
Yeah, you could make a credible case to keeping him. I'm fine with it. And you want to sell me on a rotation where he's at the top of it and Jackson Jobe would slot in at 2 and Reese Olson's at 3 and then Mize at 4 and then, Kenny's mom at 5. It doesn't matter. I can understand it. It won't fix your lineup.
Right.
The Tigers do not have organizational balance, and a lot of their hopeful answers are years away. Well, I'm not willing to throw away any more time in my life.
Brother, the saddest thing when it comes to this organization is we sat here and said, okay, since the 84 team, try to come up with 5 developmental everyday players.
Oh, Matt Vierling. Let me go to Bill. Vierling, face of franchise.
I'm just saying,
He is the FOF.
the guys that came up through their system. It's hard to name 5.
Bill, 97.1. What's up, Billy?
Hey, Mike, thanks for taking my call. Well, I went down to that fiasco today only because my lifelong buddy Mike got us a couple tickets and we don't get to spend a lot of time together. But let me tell you, I've played, coached, and umpired baseball at every level, and I can't believe what I saw today. I spent half the game asking my buddy Mike what the names of these clowns were because I don't even pay attention to them. And I was tied between grabbing a Canna jersey, I guess that's his name, or a Vierling jersey. I was really torn. I was just hoping nobody recognized me at the game today. And as far as Skubal, we actually talked about it on the way down there. He's got to get traded for something, especially with this 8 to 10 year Tommy John thing in the background here. But, Mike, I'm going to continue going to Jimmy John's games in Utica and see the same type of baseball. And I'll let you guys talk.
Yeah, no, I mean, Bill, listen, that's the whole thing. I mean, it is Scott Harris so far has shown no interest in putting an offense out there. As good as he, AJ, and Feder are in finding arms, which, by the way, would be part of the reason I would listen on Skubal. You found Lorenzen. You found Flaherty. Now, the Maeda thing's been a disaster. You got to own that, too.
Yeah, but you're not going
to bat 1,000.
Yeah.
The point I'm making is look at the moves he's made offensively to try to patchwork this thing, to try to bring it along. Abject failure. Period. You don't get credit for Riley Green. Riley's not yours. Cole Keith isn't yours.
No.
So what have you brought in? I mean, give me a break. The Nick Maton Express, your Uber's here. You know what I mean? And then he drove out of town.
Yeah, he got DFA'd yesterday.
From another team. but you get my point. Now, again, if I got to hear another person affiliated with that team trot out Matt Vierling is the answer, I can't do it. I can't. You can't trot out a guy that wouldn't play for a playoff team. You can't do that. Let's go to Chris, 97.1. What's up, Chris?
Hey, guys, let me tell you about Matt Vierling. I'm just kidding.
Face of the franchise, Matt Vierling. Chris, you watch your mouth.
Hey, I'm going to make my point, and then I'm going to hang up real quick.
Sure.
My guy, long story short, I think you're right. You have to listen. This organization has demonstrated that they have the ability to identify and develop pitchers. So I don't think we should really necessarily get attached to any pitcher, especially one coming off of TJ. Tariq's a great player, but let's look at the organization from the whole. You have no long-term option at shortstop. You don't have a long-term option at third base. We don't know what's going to happen with Max Clark in 2 years. If you get the Godfather offer and you can make the system healthier,
Yep.
Yeah, do it. No sacred cows. This is a rebuild, and this is how I'm judging Scott Harris. This team is not trying to win. His job is to restock and replenish the farm system, so that's how I'm grading him. I don't care if this team wins. This is where I'm evaluating Scott Harris at this trade deadline, because last year was like a mixed bag, to say the least.
Yeah. No, and Chris, you have every right. And that's, look, ultimately, there may not be a deal available. You may not have something that's interesting to you. That's okay. But it's this fight that we've been in with people, or outright people just saying we're dumb because of what? Bringing it up as a way to supercharge the rebuild? to make up for the fact that there's a big gap here between, look, Scott Harris was awful pleased with himself for his draft day last year. The reality is, in all likelihood, it will not pay legitimate dividends for 3 to 4 years. And that's at the soonest, the quickest.
Right.
So here's an idea. Let's talk about this. Look, the Jack Flaherty thing is easy. Anybody off the street would walk in here and go, all right, got to trade him. The Skubal thing is hard. The Skubal thing takes chops. Mm-hmm. It takes real conviction to go, this is not going to work. I have to do something bold. And you know what I don't? Enrico, you always say this. A lot of times executives don't want to make moves because it starts their clock. Mm-hmm. Well, too bad. I don't know about you guys driving home today from your job, but your clock starts the day you take your job. You in sales? You ever off the clock? No, because when a quarter ends, a new one begins, and you got to prove yourself all over again. Hey, if you're a doctor and you're listening to our idiocy, ever have just a coast it period? Oh, you're going to half-ass that heart surgery tomorrow? Yeah. No, you're on the clock. The real world demands real performance. Yep. Only in sports, where people want to drink the bathwater of sports executives, do we allow these people, Rico, to just flutter along. No, because Mike, it's not only starting the clock with the executives, it starts the clock with the fan base, because the fans don't want expectations, because it's a lot easier to go to games not expecting to win, to say, well, I had a good time. You don't want to go to a game and be frustrated because you lost this game. I love being frustrated. I love it. But you're different. Means the games mean something. No, but to make that bold decision, and it doesn't mean that, it's difficult, because you know what? Maybe we're going to take a step back to take 3 steps forward. And once again, I look back to the Detroit Lions. When the whole Stafford thing went down, I was like, wait, what? You did what? But they had a plan in place. They knew what they were doing. And now look, they not only did they start the clock, but look at the fan base. Yep. Fan base is out there puffing their chest out saying, yeah, we could win. We could do this. We're not talking about, well, maybe they could make a wild card game. They're talking about winning the Super Bowl. But for the Tigers, we've gotten to the, well, they're trying, and look at the couple of guys that they have, and we need to keep all our people here. Man, you got to listen to everything possible, because you don't have as much as you think, Detroit. You really don't. And again, this isn't just a blind fire outside of another development day down at Comerica. No, it's Jim Bowden saying the Tigers are receiving overtures on Skubal from across the league. Lynn Henning wrote today, look, you'll get a ton for this guy. It's worth listening. All right, you can call us idiots. Well, what are you going to do? If you want to slander Lynn or Jim Bowden, God bless. But eventually, everybody can't be wrong. Can they? To say what? Listen on Skubal? Look, it's very clear they're not going to make the playoffs as currently constituted. Yeah, they'll get hot. Everybody's, the Angels are the town bike. Everybody gets a ride. The point is, they're not going to make it. From the White Sox to the Angels in 2 separate weeks. Right. You're going to sell Flaherty. Maybe somebody will take Urshela so somebody can hit a lefty in the playoffs. The point is, I think you take a listen. I'd like to know if you're ready to at least meet us in the middle on it. We'll get to the NBA draft at 5. Being number one, not easy. Takes years of experience, dedication, determination. Number one mattress purchased by millions every year. It's Serta. They got the experience, 111 years of it to be exact. They make the best mattresses right here in the state of Michigan. And right now, during the 4th of July summer sale, save up to $900 off that iComfort adjustable mattress. Just go to Serta.com to find a retailer near you. That's Serta.com. All right. Let's get to the people, shall we? We'll get to the NBA draft, guys. Don't worry. Jim Bowden, former MLB GM, now in the media. Bowden saying you're getting overtures around the league about Skubal. Lynn Henning even chimed in today. If you like Lynn's work, great. If you don't, that's fine too. I'm just saying you're not going to get to corner Mike and Rico or go Cookies. He's a negative little B. No. Lots of people talking about Tigers maybe should listen on Skubal. So what do you say? No one is saying you have to do it or to short sell. And if you don't get an offer, you don't get something you find acceptable, cool. But I don't know how you're not looking. When basically every night it's 1-0-0, 1-1-2, 1-12, 1-1-0, 1-1-13. Come on, man. That's not development. Yeah. When Akil Badu's in your car, not development. Mark Canna batting cleanup, not development. Gio Urshela hitting third, not development.
Yeah, when you go from scoring 11 runs and then you may not score 11 more runs in the next 5 consecutive games, that's problematic.
What do our ticket texters have to say as we check in for the first time today, David?
Harris should be able to get a Mikal Bridges-esque return from a Skubal trade. Let's fast-track this thing and pick up some legitimate prospects that are soon to be or are now MLB ready.
That's the key.
Yes.
I'm not trading for someone else's faraway Max Clark dream. These have to be guys that are about to be called up or close, or at least the centerpiece of it is. Mm-hmm. And it's a guy my staff loves. It's a guy that we would bring up immediately. Then you can take some flyers where your advanced scouts are telling you, look, we really covet these 2 pieces. And if that's not there, that's okay.
Yeah.
But to be called an idiot because we've been talking about the idea of listening, yeah, that part I don't get. You might want to unplug your transistor radio.
Well, you're like this one. Only clueless morons think Skubal should be untouchable. If someone is desperate, they will pay up their nose.
Right.
No doubt.
And here are teams
and the fact that you have multiple teams.
Look, Yankees haven't won the World Series or even been to one since 2009. Garrett Cole's velocity dropped last night. Are you really trotting out and trusting Luis Gil in an elimination game? How about psychopath Marcus Stroman? How about Carlos Rodon? Like, Yankees, desperate. High pressure. Hey, how about the Baltimore Orioles, who have new owners who are ready to spend? You know what? Maybe, just maybe, their whole rotation died. John Means, dead. Multiple guys, dead. How about the Atlanta Braves? Rico, want to win a World Series again?
Yeah. Strider, gone. So, yeah.
The whole idea is, don't tell me there won't be a market for a 27-year-old Cy Young candidate, and please, if I got to hear another thing about Blake Snell, my head's going to explode. Blake Snell led the league in walks. Blake Snell is completely reliant on getting guys to chase out of the zone. But stop. Not same. Not.
Keep Skubal. He's a piece to build around. Sell what doesn't make sense to keep and spend money like adult ball clubs do, and you'll have a competitive team on a daily basis.
No argument. Show me that Chris Ilitch will raise this payroll by almost $100 million AAV. Mm-hmm. You have a winner. But I'll tell you, it's going to be hard to do. Us wanting to go out and go, look, on a gap year, can I get, with options to opt out, Rico wanted JD? That's a small move in the grand scale.
Right.
But if you're talking about bats, plural, that are high caliber, like what? You want to be the Rangers from 2 years ago? Go get Corey Seager, go get Marcus Semien. That's what you're going to do? Show me Chris Ilitch writing a $700 million check for $350 million or whatever they signed for. Guys, if you can give me that guarantee, I'm happy to keep Skubal. But make no mistake about it, the better way is to draft and develop and have your own guys. And if you don't get an offer, we keep the guy.
Yes.
We love Skubal.
You're not giving him away for nothing.
David, one more. So, I'm sorry, Rico.
No, I don't think that can be stressed enough. It's not trade Skubal at all cost. It's, man, there are great deals out there. Play these teams off of each other and get the best one you can.
Tigers need to create a bidding war for Skubal. Try and work a team like Avila used to get worked.
That's
Dan
right.
and Howell.
That's right.
David, honestly, it should be one of those moments that just stop you in your tracks. Like last night when you found out about Mikal Bridges, you're like, wait, whoa. Is this real? You got to immediately look and check to see, is this legitimate? I remember I was on vacation driving in a parking lot and had to pull over the car when Stafford got traded. Like, no, wait, what? So you can have that type of a moment if you do this thing right with Scuba, where wherever you are, you're in the line for a movie. Wait, hold on. I got to check this and make sure. I think we just traded for Scuba, and we got all of these pieces in return.
Let's go to Barry, 97.1. What's up, Bear? How you doing, buddy?
Good. I'm doing good. You know, this is a fun topic. It's a good topic. I just don't think it's going to happen, the Scuba trade, and the reason is Harris. I have no faith in Harris. He flunked his 2 first tests. With K-Rod last year, he got hoodwinked. With Max Clark, I would have taken Wyatt Langford in a heartbeat.
Yep.
Harris is like Chris Ilitch. They look like a clone of each other. They have no passion. They're timid, and I just don't see how they would ever make a move like this. I mean, look, Phillies, Tigers. Phillies have the number 7 payroll in the MLB. Tigers have the 23rd payroll in the MLB. Did you see what you saw today? A stark contrast between two teams. I mean,
you know what the Phillies are? Let me tell you, here's what the Phillies are. They're what you used to be. Several heavy hitter pitchers, a lineup of thumpers, Dombrowski running the thing. Yeah, Barry, it's what we used to have. 100%.
And I agree with what you're saying. With Fetter and Hinch, you can develop pitching. That's your strong point, developing pitchers. So you got one here, so get what you can for him and then develop another pitcher.
Yep.
I mean, that's what they got to do.
Yeah, and Barry, your point is well taken, and I don't think people understand it enough, and I want to reinforce it. To make a move like this, you got to be incredibly self-assured in who you are and your acumen and your work, and you got to know, in many ways, you're putting your job security on the line in the pursuit of building a World Series team. I don't know how you can do a job in Major League Baseball or the NBA or any sport, any high-level executive that's worth their salt. You can't be risk-averse. You can't. Mm-hmm. I mean, look, great example. Brian Cashman will end his career as Yankees general manager if they traded for Juan Soto and gave up legitimate assets. And Soto ends up playing for the Mets and Steve Cohen. He'll need a police escort. No, I'm being serious.
No, I'm laughing at that possibility.
Look at what Leon Rose has done. Now, Leon Rose is with the Knicks. The Knicks just went out and they called their shot. Now, they went and paid Jalen Brunson. High risk. Mm-hmm. Not an A-list guy. He's developed into one. They go and get Josh Hart. They go and get DiVincenzo. These are risky things because none of these they make sense for them. Now, last night, they traded every draft pick. They're basically like the Federal Reserve in New York now. They're printing draft picks.
Yeah, pretty much was like, wait, what other Villanova Wildcat don't we have? Oh,
Josh Paschal, or whatever his name is. the power forward.
The guy who hit the winning shot, yes.
Scotty Reynolds. Go get him. The point is not risk averse. Look what Brad Stevens did with the Celtics. Oh, it's not a risk to take Kristaps Porzingis and all that money and all those injuries. Oh, we're going to trade for Drew Holiday and take fan favorite Marcus Smart and a guy he had to argue with Wick Grossbeck, the team owner, to trade. Guys, the reason I say it is none of it's risk averse. So if you want to be great, you have to take risks. And do we believe Scott Harris is a smart human being? Yes. Do we believe Scott Harris has a clue what the hell he's doing? Boy, I hope so. So when we say field those calls, you're fielding it because you feel like I'm smarter than the guy on the other end of the phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should make it so that whenever they see your area code, it's like, oh boy, okay. All right, let's make sure we don't get screwed over here.
You want to become what Tampa Bay is. Nobody wants to deal with the Rays.
Right.
Why? They work you.
Yeah. The antithesis of Avila.
Correct.
Wait, 313, cancel the meeting. I'm taking this call.
Al, baby. What's going on?
Wait, Al, I don't know, man. That deal, whew, that's a lot of, we're going to have to think about that deal. We're taking the deal. Okay, Al, we thought about it.
Can you believe this idiot? Yeah, sure. Yeah, let me talk to my owner.
Hey, Al's like, guys, you're not on hold. I actually heard that.
You didn't mute the phone? What the hell's the matter with you? 248-539.
He'll do the deal anyway.
9797. We'll get more of your phone calls. Again, it's not a random trade Scooble thing. Jim Bowden talked about it. Lynn Henning talked about it. It's just this idea. You're starting to see the wheels turn. And if it's true, and I'm not going to call Jim Bowden a liar, you're getting overtures from around the league for him. Isn't it Scott Harris's job to listen? That's the topic. No one's making any demands, no matter how this will be twisted. Hey, summer driving season is here. Combo of increased traffic, terrible construction everywhere, and apparently death storms nonstop. There's going to be a ton of accidents. And if you're injured in one, you need injury attorney David Femininio, him and his team, ready to help you right now. David does not take a fee until he wins your case. You could speak to David personally right now by calling 855-65-CRASH, or you can go to that website, getdavid.getpaid.com. So here is the centerpiece of what we're rapping about. Jim Bowden. This is by way of Lynn Henning. Jim Bowden saying today the Tigers are receiving overtures about Tarik Skubal. Fans will shriek, but the trade package for Skubal would be of such size and necessity for the Tigers. They make the deal if it's there in appropriate abundance, and it very well could be. We just had the question. It's easy to call Cookies or Rieger or me and Rico idiots. All right, Jim Bowden's saying it now. Lynn Henning backing it up. You want to just throw them in the idiot pile with us? We'll load up a big bus, go down idiot highway, whatever you like. Our point is, isn't it incumbent upon Scott Harris to listen? I mean, it's like tonight. If you're Trajan Langdon, how do you not listen? The real good GMs, they're the straw that stirs the drink. Like, I want to get to a point where we have a GM like Brad Holmes in one of the other sports where they're a force of nature. They're like Sam Presti in the NBA.
Yeah.
You're spinning that wheel at the Showcase Showdown. You don't just win the washer and dryer. You win the car, too.
You know what? I'm going to be the first to admit I thought this in the first few years on NBA draft day. I thought Troy Weaver was that guy.
Uh-oh.
No. Because the Pistons were like the centerpiece of every trade on draft day. Oh, Troy Weaver moves this pick and picks up Jalen Duren. He did this. He moved it. I'm like, okay, maybe we got something here. Now, it didn't work out that way, but he risked it. He went out there and he tried. He failed, but he didn't sit around just saying, I'm doing nothing.
Let's go to Justin, 97.1. Justin, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
So I was at the game today, and my goodness, how do you expect to win when you're having a bullpen day with one of the worst bullpens in baseball since the start of May, and 3 or 4 guys in your lineup whose batting average begins with a 1 and their OPS begins with a 4 or a 5? But I wanted to call and talk about Scott Harris, and I think he needs to do one of 3 things for me in order to be pleased. And number 1, Tarik Skubal is the number 1 trade chip in all of baseball right now. He's sitting at the table with pocket aces, and he's got to flip it into a haul that is going to be setting your team up for years to come. 2, a re-signing of him, and that might not happen until the offseason, but honestly is risky given his injury history. And if neither of those things happen, what I do want to hear is a statement from Scott Harris, a rarity in this age, of him saying, you know what, guys, I did listen to offers on Skubal, but you know what, we didn't get anything that we were pleased with, and so I stood pat.
Yeah.
But I need you guys to know that I listened.
See, Justin, I agree completely. A lot of our reaction is it's really just about communication. And certain GMs are better at it than others. And I feel like in this town, we are done a large disservice. And our GMs don't seem to be very communicative. Now, Justin, as luck would have it, I want to play a piece of audio for you that kind of highlights what you're talking about. Jeff Rieger was down at the ballpark last night, and Rieger asked Skubal about a contract or about re-signing. I'll play it, and Justin, I'll keep you on the line. I want your feedback on this. We can, we'll parse some words and have a little fun. Take a listen.
Absolutely.
All right, so Justin, there you go. Now again, what do you don't have to read anything into it, but what do you make of that?
Well, honestly, I can't say I'm too thrilled with that answer. I would have loved for him to say, you know what, Detroit is the team that drafted me.
There
this is the place I call home.
You picked up on that, huh?
And he would love nothing more than to stay here as a Tiger for the rest of his career. But is this organization fostering feelings like that in our players right now? Like, everything just seems like ho-hum with this organization, and like no one has really any passion, not only for the Tigers, but the Pistons and maybe the Red Wings. But, Skubal is he's a generational talent right now, and we should be looking to lock him up, and that should be communicated to Skubal. I mean, I know sometimes they don't initiate trade talks in season.
No,
so
and you normally don't get that, but Justin, to me, it kind of sounds as if, and I'm speculating, but him and his agent had a dinner one day and was just like, let's see what else is out there.
Listen, let me be very clear. Once again, for the people in the back, I'm not going to overreact to it. But if you're asking me, what would I have liked to hear? Look, I love being a Detroit Tiger. I love it here. I hope it works out. I hope I pitch my whole career here.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
You want to sign a long-term deal here? Man, that would be a great priority for me. I'd love to see that happen, yes.
Now, the fact that he refers to his agent, Stoney went with, it's right, why you write those checks to Scott. We know who his agent is, Scott Boras. Now, do I think Scott has the power he once had? Probably not. I think he mismanaged a little bit, obviously, this past offseason. I think he overplayed his hand with a couple of guys, including Blake Snell. The point is, every negotiation's different. And if you've got a lefty in his prime, throwing 100 miles an hour, who's a Cy Young candidate, that's going to be hard to screw up. It is. So, look, I'm not going to read too much into it. But if you want to re-sign Skubal, I have no problem with you. What I don't think is intelligent is to just kick the can down the road, because from this point forward, the value only goes down. Because team control gets eroded. Mm-hmm. So make a decision. Just to us, listen to the offers. That's it. Love to read a report. Hey, this was offered to Scott Harris. Oh, good. Good. Let's hear that. What did they say?
Yeah, I don't want you to do what you did in the offseason where you just kind of, we didn't go after these guys because I don't think they would have come here anyway. Well, did you ask them? No.
Well, the other thing is this. You're light on trade chips, if we're being honest about it, right? Mm-hmm. What happens if Skubal levels off? What happens if he's just good, not great? Then who's the big trade chip? Look, I continue to caution people with what you're going to get for Flaherty based on what Milwaukee got for Corbin Burns. Like, you'll get something, and I trust that Scott Harris will have a player he covets that certainly has a long-term horizon. But overall, you're not getting anything for Mark Canha. Mark Canha since May 1st is Javi Baez. Go look at the numbers.
That bad?
Go look.
Okay.
No, seriously. I just get on the air and flippantly say things. But like, the point
it was a rhetorical question.
No, respect. I'm just saying, like, Gio Urshela, what's that going to get you? A new ball boy? So the reality is Skubal's the one real impactful thing I have. I think Scott Harris owes it to himself, much less the fan base. Because if I got to endure another year of watching this offensively, I really don't know. Hey, Bally may think it's okay. I don't. 248-539-9797. Love the feedback on it, guys. We'll continue it. And yes, we are going to bring up the Pistons. The draft is tonight. We'll mix it in, because what if the right player is the one player you cannot select? I want to explain that to you, and then Rico will chastise me. It's going to be a very exciting 5 o'clock hour. Oh, and we also have red hot, huge black rumors for tonight.
You know what, David? I have something. It's not a rumor. It's fact. Guys, let's play a little game. What'd you say? Wait, what did he say? Whoa. Guess who did not make the French Olympic team?
Killian Hayes, you win.
Yeah,
97-1.
Brought to you by National Benefit Plans. The NBA draft begins tonight at 8 on ABC. The Pistons are set to pick 5th if they do, in fact, hold on to that spot. Free Press beat writer Omari Sankofa thinks that Donovan Clingan should still be available at 5, and the Pistons should select him if so. Quote, poor rim protection has been among the main issues factoring into their abysmal record over the past half-decade. Clingan, standing 7'3" with a 7'7" wingspan, is equipped to be a dominant rim protector from day one, end quote. The Pistons will likely not offer James Wiseman a one-year qualifying offer as his rookie deal expires, according to Evan Sittery. The team prefers to clear cap space instead. The Tigers lost to the Phillies this afternoon at Comerica Park. Brandon Marsh was a big reason why. Marsh was 4 for 4 with 4 RBIs and also had a 2-run bomb earlier in the game. The Tigers lost 6-2 and lose the series 2 out of 3 as well. Al Michaels' voice will be heard on NBC's Olympic coverage through Peacock, but he won't voice the reads. Instead, they will be AI generated. No, that's not a recording. That's an AI-generated Al Michaels read. Michaels said, quote, it was astonishing, it was amazing, and it was a little bit frightening, end quote. These will be used on recaps tailored to users' favorite events on the PCAP app. At the Corwell Health Sports Desk, I'm Jeremy Otto. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket or Odyssey.com.
All right, 5 o'clock. Great to have you with us. We got multiple topics in play. Yes, we are going to turn some of our focus to the Pistons draft tonight, but Jim Bowden talked about Tarek Skubal. Lynn Henning wrote about it. It was just simple. Tigers are getting overtures on Skubal. You'd get a lot for him. You probably should listen. There's your headline. And that ain't from me. You can call me an idiot all you like. Still get paid. The point is, should Scott Harris be listening? So we've been rapping about that a little bit. Let's turn our attention to the Pistons, and I want to do this. Yesterday we talked a little bit about the typecast, the type of player that Rico wants, type of player that I want. What if the right player is the one guy in this draft you can't take? Meaning, can the first player that Trajan Langdon really selects be affiliated with Arn Tellem? Guys, it's well chronicled. This upsets me to no end. But Arn Tellem wields a ton of power, and it's absurd. The idea that they've brought in, I think it's 11 former Arn Tellem clients or current Michael Tellem, his son, clients, plus now the president of basketball ops here, who was his agent when he played, Arn Tellem. At 5, do you know who you've been mocked to more than any other player? Matas Buzelis, repped by Michael Tellem. Now,
see, the problem with that is,
what?
It's not like he's got these, tremendous stats, and you're like, you know what? I don't care who he's repped by.
But work with me.
All right.
It is a 5-star out of high school. It is a guy who is a 6'9", 6'10" wing, plays really good defense, allegedly is a better shooter than what he showed in the G League, 26% from deep. The point is, they have no wings. They have no size. And in light of, look, last night what the Knicks did is every bit about matching up with the Celtics or matching up with the Nuggets. This idea of, I have to have size, I have to be able to switch, I have to be able to guard multiple wings. Mm-hmm. Rico, the problem is, what if Buzelis is the right player? But can Trajan Langdon possibly, as his first identifiable personnel move, Daddy Arn is going to get another friends and family discount?
Yeah, but I mean, Trajan knows probably it was Daddy Arns that got him this job.
What about the 4:30 a.m. job interview? Come on, emotional hugs.
I mean, nothing says I really want to hire you more than keep you on the phone until 4:30 in the morning. I mean,
he can't take Bacelis.
What if he's the right guy?
He can't take Bacelis.
No. But here's the thing, Mike. If he was the right guy, I really wouldn't care who he was rep by, because on the court, you're not going to. If he hits game-winning shots, if he plays great defense, you don't care who his representative is. But when I look at the stats and look and watch some of the stuff about him, there's nothing special about. I mean, when one of the things is you turn the ball over a lot and you're coming in, you're not ready for the NBA. You're not ready for right now. And if I'm Trajan Langdon, everything that I'm doing is to try to put a cast around Cade Cunningham. If you draft this young man, and you're going to have to sit him for a year at least in order for him to be NBA ready. So I get it. I think if they draft him, it is because of who he's represented by. I don't think it's because of his skills. You took this type of player last season. I don't think you can do it again. A guy who can, maybe score occasionally, but can play some defense and
I mean that. Hold on. The projection is he's going to be a scorer. Ausar Thompson was never going to be a scorer.
He was never going to be a scorer, but Mike, it's not like he's lighting it up. It's
none of
streaky.
these guys are.
I understand, but that's why I'm like, okay. No, if you drafted him, it is simply because who he's represented.
All right, so
by.
if they take Bazelis at 5, do you think less of Trajan Langdon? That's issue number 1. It's a question. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope they go a different direction. I don't want to see more Arn Tellem influence on a franchise that he has played a role in sinking into Middle Earth. I mean, let's face it. How many Tellem-affiliated people and clients now have we seen, and what's this team's winning percentage? Enough. Mm-hmm. But here's my question, and I don't even know, Rico, if there is a right answer to this. What is the consensus that will make everyone happy tonight? What is it? Would it be a trade? Almost assuredly down. Would it be a particular player that would make everyone happy? What is it?
I think the trade down, if you did the poll, trade down would win. But because that's only meaning you're going to probably get some more assets in return that can help you out in future years. I don't think that there's a player. I think it's almost, anybody but Metellus, ABM,
I think you
or Bazelis.
Yeah, I was going to say you combined his first name and his last name into Josh Metellus.
Right. So, yeah, anybody but him. That's what I think a lot of people are. Where if they said, oh, they took Klingon, okay, it wasn't Bazelis. Oh, they took whoever. They took Reed. They took Stefan Castle. They took anybody. Fine. It wasn't him.
That's exactly where I'm at here, because I don't want any connection to Tellem. Tom Gore said that he is the CEO, meaning Trajan Langdon. So everything should be what you want. And the minute, whether it's right or wrong, the minute he drafts Bazelis, if that's what he does, I'm immediately going to, here we go again. We're going back to the old days. Nothing's new here.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've told you, I want to get a scorer. I want somebody who can help Cade out immediately, because I don't think you're going to get rid of Cade. So you need somebody who can play. And Mike, I know with Connect, you talked about his age, but finally went through that entire article. And statistically speaking, most players, you're right, hit their peak around 22 and they cap out around 27 or so. Mm-hmm. That's in Cade's sweet window right now. So therefore, if you get a guy like a Connect, he's a role player. He's helping out Cade Cunningham. You're going to be a dumping ground for other contracts. It may be enough that can help you build upon this. I'm not going in this draft thinking you're going to get a superstar. I'm not going in this draft thinking you're going to get a star. But I do think you can get an NBA player who can go out there and contribute to this team on a night in and night out basis.
There are two guys that are intriguing to me, right? And I clearly, guys, I don't think much of this draft. In an ideal world, the Pistons would trade down and take one of these players. Let me be very upfront. Like rumors today that the Bulls and the Grizzlies really want to move up. Oh, God, please. Please, God. I don't even care what they're offering. I'm in. Like, if I can move down, I really think there's a lot of parity in this draft. So here are two guys, right? You can do what you want with this.
Zach Edey?
No. One is, and again, both of these guys are young. So that's part of my deal where it's like I need players that haven't really developed a lot. One is Jacoby Walter, who's a wing from Baylor. He's 19 years old. He's a shooter. He's very long. He's a good defensive player, plus athlete. I want to get Cade someone who I can put next to him.
About 35% from the three.
Right, 6'6". Here's the other guy. Now this is all risk it, all biscuit.
This is your lottery ticket.
Yeah, if you don't want me if you don't want me to pick some guy from Transylvania or played for Suffer and Succotash last year in the Croatian League. What about Rob Dillingham in that Tyrese Maxey mold? Now he is an undersized guard at 6'1", Kentucky freshman. This guy is an offensive. He's a one-man band.
He is, but I thought that was the whole knock on Reed Shepherd.
It is. I just think Dillingham's more talented. I don't want any of this. Let me be clear. I'm saying I'm giving people options as they sit down to watch tonight, where it would be dishonest of me to be like, oh, you got to take Nikola Topic. See, what? I don't know who the hell this kid is.
Yeah, see, what makes it so frustrating is, one, you didn't keep Monty Williams, so I don't know what you're trying to do. I don't know what players the next coach wants to use. I don't know what this means for Jaden Ivey. I don't know what it really means for anybody. So, Mike, you're right. If you knew that Jaden Ivey is not going to be a part of this team, then by all means, go get Dillingham. And I wouldn't blink and be like, okay, you know what? It's a position of need. He could score. He could shoot three. He's like 45% from the three-point line. All right, let's go with that. But it's the Pistons decided to turn into a Mickey Mouse organization and not have a coach going into the draft. So nobody knows what you're going to do.
I know. And look, there aren't many things I'll get upset about. I don't think I reserve a right to be upset when I've said the draft is terrible. And there are very few players that I have a strong enough opinion on to hate. I don't hate Rico's suggestion of Dalton Connect. I just have a different way I want to do things. If they take him, I'll root like hell for the kid because I'm tired of watching this garbage.
Yeah. Because when I look at this draft, it's a down draft. This draft is a draft full of role players.
What about Cody Williams? Can I get you on the Cody Williams train? If I said, all right, Dillingham, Williams, Walter, there's three. All young, all have
I like Walter. I do.
He could shoot.
I do. I don't think he had a great game here at Little Caesars.
Baylor was dead off the bus. That was the day you went down there and State was up by 30.
Yeah.
Yeah. Draw a line through that.
Okay. All right. But no, right. I mean, because I'm not going to blame Reed Shepherd. Oh, Oakland, yes. Games happen like that. But no, I would take two of those three. But this is a draft. In this draft is going to be a lot of role players, a lot of guys that are going to help teams out. They're not going to carry teams.
Yep.
So the goal is to address exactly what your team needs and go after that person. That's why it's frustrating to me because I don't know what the Pistons are going to try to do. But in this draft of 60 people tonight, you may get two that actually turn out to be all-stars. But I think between the other 58 of getting cut from or released from the league, you'll get like 15 good role players in the NBA.
248-539-9797. Look, at this point, I almost feel like we can talk about Kenny and long walks on the beach. Does anyone care about the NBA? I mean, what are we doing here? I can fill the phone lines with Scooble Talk if you like.
Let's do it.
I was trying to give the Pistons one night in the sun. Holy hell. Hey, guys, down at Piston Central, you got a problem. This is what your customers think of you. You can't get a call on draft day?
Maybe they should move up. You know what? Maybe they throw in Mini Hooper in a trade and move up.
Dude, do something. All right, time to talk about Victor's Home Solutions. Very simple. If you have questions about your roof or you need a new one, you got to go to Victor's. It is simple. They install a perfect roof the first time. They get it done right, just like I just screwed Rico over immediately. Apologies. Victor's. Rico, I can't be passionate and then I'm sorry.
Talk about Victor.
I am. Look, perfection, unlike what I've just prevented, is the goal. They have job site inspectors that guarantee it. You can get your risk-free, no issue 21-point video roof inspection today. All you got to do is call the number 734-773-1100. And they are so confident in the work that they do, they will offer you a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install. Bottom line, Victor's best in class. Call the number today, 734-773-1100, or online anytime at victors.com. All right, let's get to the people. David's got big black draft rumors. We're going to get to that at 5:30. Kenny, that's the name of the segment. It's not like even a choice. David has the production values labeled as big black rumors. Like, what am I supposed to call it?
Thought we were making an announcement for David today.
To the people.
Well established.
Baby number 10.
Go to Ken, 97.1. What's up, Kenny? How are you?
Not too much. How you doing, Mike?
Good. What's on your mind, Ken?
I just think that at this point, Scooble's one of the best pitchers in the league, left-handed Cy Young candidate. If we're talking about we want to make the playoffs, I think a better route here is keeping Scooble. I don't trust a guy who literally told us that a minor league prospect that was about to be major league ready is Cody Keith, or it's Parker Meadows, or it's even some of these other guys that we think are supposed to be up and coming. I just don't trust their opinion on the young talent, to trust them to trade away a piece like that. And I think that if we want to make the playoffs soon, I think a better route is keeping Scooble and doing the signings like some of the ones you suggested in the offseason, going after Chapman, going after Bellinger, going after some of these guys that could help us. But
So let me say this, because I don't disagree with you, and I don't want people to think that I do. But here's the cost of admission if we're going to go with the Ken plan. A, you got to sign Skubal. Why? I can't lose him for nothing in 2 years. So somewhere in here, there's going to have to be a question of, do you want to be here? The other angle is, you got to give me a guarantee that I'm going to be able to raise this payroll. I mean, if you want to add 3 legitimate bats in the offseason, God, man, I'm not even stretching when I say it. 50 to 60 million, easy per year.
That's the cost of doing business at this point, though, Mike. I mean,
but then show me they want to do it, because they haven't been interested the last 2 years.
But I think he said that if he builds his core, but I think if you trade his Skubal, I think he's going to think his core is even weaker, so he's going to be less interested in spending.
Yeah, and listen, Kenny, I'm with you in that if you can show me signs those things are true, I'll keep the guy. But I have doubts that they are.
I think he wants to build the core, and I think he thinks Skubal is a part of that. That's why I think he'll pay him. I also think that's the same reason that they paid Cody Keith. I think that was maybe a sign that they might be willing to pay some payroll increases.
But hold on. We got to be careful with the Colt Keith thing. Like, let's be real. Kenny, they paid the guy like $10. I mean, what was the deal? 6 years and $23 million?
Yeah, I thought it was 27, but something like that.
Yeah, not to be rude, that's not exactly a financial commitment.
And you're talking about 3 bats, $50 million total, or per?
Like on an AAV basis, that if I get let's say I got an $18 million bat and a Matt Chapman.
Okay,
and I got
all right.
a 15 in JD, and then I got a 17 over here.
All right, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like $50 million for each bat. Like,
no. I'm saying on an AAV basis. Now, does it mean in one off season you'd have to write a $300 million check? Probably. Look, I want these things to be true. I'm not mad if Ken says that. I think it's a totally sensible thing. But in the absence of that, and by the way, every player you sign on the open market, you will have to overpay for. I've never denied that.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a Tiger tax.
Oh, a big time one. And there would have been one with a Bellinger or a Chapman. But then again, you never called. So we'll never get the answer. You were busy telling us we didn't want to block Akil Baddoo.
Right. You don't want to block any of these guys.
Now, how could I block Mark Hanna?
I mean, you didn't want to block Torque, did you?
Okay, then. You know what kills me with it? They operated as if failure was a 0% chance and injuries were a 0% chance.
Right.
It's incredible. Like, blocking good prospects or having this, quote, problem, what a problem to have. Dude, whatever. It's what's past is past. I'm focused on the future. No, what are you doing playing every day? Let's go over to Jacob, 97.1. What's up, Jake?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Just calling on the Skubal trade. I don't want to trade Skubal. He's honestly the only reason I watch the Tigers. They kind of suck. But this is why Brad Holmes kind of ruined me. So Brad Holmes came in before he even made a single move. He looked at the only asset that the Lions had in Matt Stafford and said, you know what? I don't have to wait around for a couple of years to see if maybe we'll be good enough with our young players. Maybe we'll be good enough that he'll win us something. He said, no, you're not going to fit. We're not ready for you. We're going to trade you. We're going to get assets, and look where they are now. I kind of think that's my issue with all the GMs in the town is they look and they say, oh, well, we can piece it together. Our young guys are going to be great. Our young guys are going to be great. The Lions were horrible. Brad Holmes said, we're going to take the one guy we actually have, trade him, and look at all the pieces they got from him. So I think, long story short, that's what they should do with Skubal. Look, he's a great player. I hate to trade him, but the team is awful. There's no other redeeming quality on this team that keeping Skubal, you're going to be able to piece together, especially the way they want to do it.
And you're right. Jacob, I think it goes back to what I said last hour is I don't want to I want to be careful choosing my words here. I was going to say the word scared, but I always think our GMs locally are very hesitant. They're they don't want to be bold.
They don't want to put the bullseye on themselves.
Right. Brad Holmes is the only one who has. Weird. He's the only one who's been successful.
Yeah. So much so that he can go out and draft a Canadian nobody ever heard of and said, and what? You complaining? No. Go ahead and cook, Brad.
Right. That's the same feeling I have tonight. If Trajan Langdon wants to come out and say, look, we don't want to sign Cade, we want to trade him, our team's ass,
We're going to get a bunch of assets from him. See ya. I, again, hate to see him. He's the only real thing I see when I watch the Pistons, but hey, we're not going to rebuild quickly. So let's get as many pieces as possible and try to rebuild it that way.
I'm with you. And again, if you, I don't think, as far as Cade would be, it would be, no, you're not going to get a Mikal Bridges deal because Cade's going to make twice the money. I think Bridges is making 25 a year. Cade's about to make 50. Now, again, I don't want to get into an argument with people. You want to keep Cade? God bless. I just know if I were Cade's agent, I would hoodwink you into signing my client and before the ink's dried, demand a trade. Mm-hmm. I'm leaving. I hate it here.
Wait.
I hate
As you're
you.
signing the contract, like, why did these brochures for San Antonio fall out your pocket? Don't worry about that.
So, look, you want to keep him, keep him. But look, what kills me about tonight's draft is I look at a team like Houston. You always love saying Spider-Man meme. Houston and the Pistons were the Spider-Man meme a few short years ago. They were both awful.
Yeah.
Houston's rebuild, they're about to trade for Kevin Durant. And they're about to chase championships. Yeah. We can't get out of bed.
Oh, remember.
Yeah. The Pistons have been busy bleeping themselves for 4 years.
Pistons in Houston had to, because it was like, okay, well, do you take Cade? Do you take Green? Like, who are you going to take with that number 1 overall pick? And Pistons to Cade. And
it's not Cade's fault.
I know.
It's everything around it.
It's not, but you're right. At that time, they were the 2 worst franchise.
Remember what Houston did last year? Look, I'm not telling you this was the perfect thing, but they went out and got Van Vliet. They went out and got Dylan Brooks. And they had a 500 record.
They got Dylan Brooks when nobody else wanted to touch him.
And what did you do with your cap space? Oh, I know. You maintained nimble status. Ooh, we like our flexibility. Now you're a pop bottle machine. We're going to head on down to the local Meijer and dump all our pop bottles next to old Sandy the racehorse and get a little slip. And then the bottle guy is going to take the bottles. Sandy, put a quarter in there.
Penny.
Get yourself a little ride. Woo! And Trajan's going to be the bottle guy. He's going to be working the bottle room. We'll take your bottles as long as there's a first-round pick inside. Well, let me dig that out. All right, got me a first-round pick.
Machine breaks down. You hit the button, and here comes Trajan.
Here comes Trajan.
How can I help you?
How you doing, sir?
We'll take that in the back.
That's what your summer's going to be. We'll take that city. Rico, tell them all about it.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, got him.
I appreciate that. Specs at LTU. I've been telling you about it. Why classes are going to be starting soon in the fall. So you need to make sure that you get your name on the class roster. You want that career in radio or you want to go into television, you're a graphics design artist, Specs at LTU is there for you. They specialize in those areas. It is very simple. You just need to be curious. You go visit the website, ltu.edu/specs. You will learn more about the broadcast media arts, digital media arts, and graphics communications program taught through Specs at LTU right here in the city of Southfield on the campus of Lawrence Tech. You will be taught by instructors like myself who work in the business. It means we're not going to waste your time. You're going to learn from day one what it takes. And look, with the hands-on approach and the expert faculty, you're going to learn the practical skills you need to succeed in today's dynamic media industry. So once again, what are you waiting for? Be curious. Visit the website, ltu.edu/specs to learn more. Then make magic by enrolling in Specs at LTU certificate program today.
All right, 5:30, and in honor of the NBA draft being tonight, some of the sizzle in one of these weird years where I don't know if anybody likes any of these players. There's supposed to be a lot of movement tonight. So we decided, all right, David, get the big black rumors and get them rolling. Give us that music. That's right. Give us some of the salacious stuff we could get around the NBA tonight.
There's a ton of them. Let's start with the number one pick. The Atlanta Hawks have the number one pick. And there's been buzz around the league that Atlanta will take Donovan Clingan at number one.
The funny thing is, I guess the Vegas line now has Clingan at plus 500. So, because when I saw that, I was like, whoa, wait, what? This just goes to show you that it really is a matter of preference of what you really like. Could Clingan go one, and will I be upset? No, because at least I know what he is. If you're Atlanta, maybe you figure out.
Congrats. I mean, but here's the problem. This is why Atlanta's another dopey organization. They gave up the farm to get DeJounte Murray. One problem, he don't fit with Trae Young. Your guard, you think you got a problem with Ivy and Cade?
Yeah.
Wait till you pay those two $100 million each not to get along. So I don't know what any of this is.
Right.
Oh, but let's get a rim protector. One problem, neither Young or Murray can switch or guard anybody. But hey, rim protection, okay.
Yeah. Well, speaking of rim protection, let's talk about Zach Edey for a quick second, because there's a rumor out there that the Portland Trailblazers could target him at number 7. They don't believe that they can get him at 14, so they would take him at 7.
All I know is I'm going to win my bet with this radio station that he would absolutely go in the first round. So I don't care.
Man, at this point, why not just first overall?
Right, why not?
I feel like the meme and that little girl. I'm just like, every time, okay, sure.
Look, I think, okay, all slander aside, is there a role in a limited basis for a guy like Edey to give you these little stretches where you just dump it down there and he's drawing 8 million fouls? Sure, I guess. But who's he guarding at the NBA level? How is his body going to hold up to an 82-game slate? I don't get it. I don't see it.
But this goes back to, once again, you're drafting role players, so you're drafting a backup to a center.
Right, you're basically getting Boban's love child.
Yeah.
This rumor now is about your guy, Rico. Dalton Connect, your godson, is expected to rise to number 6 to Charlotte.
That's a death sentence. Sorry.
No, but then I saw some other rumors that Charlotte's looking at going elsewhere. So that may be a part of your thing.
There's a lot going on there.
There is a lot. I don't think Charlotte knows what they want to do with their team.
How upset are you if the Pistons pass on him at 5 and take an Arn Tellem or a Michael Tellem client? How angry is Rico Beard if that takes place tonight? Do I even text you or do I just leave you alone?
No. That's when the little inner Mike Valenti comes out, and now you think that I'll go third person. You think Rico likes receipts? Oh boy, I will put it down. All right, you took him over that.
Somehow I just imagine Rico smashing a Barca lounger alone in his house.
No, because now I can sit back and say, hey, you took Killian Hayes instead of who I wanted you to take, type of thing. So
you have every right. You were a Halliburton guy. I'll back you up on it. David, go ahead.
This may help the Pistons. League sources suggested this week that Memphis has put as many as 3 picks available to move up into the top 5.
Sold. Now, here's the problem. It's probably for Clingan. If Donovan Clingan goes before the Pistons select, I think a lot of the juice is taken out of this.
Can have him, yeah.
Oh, sold. Where do I sign? Because the Pistons moving down, what's the difference? Unless Trajan Langdon, in limited time, is just infatuated with one player, I don't know the difference between picking 5th and 9th in this draft. I really don't. Okay.
So last night there was a Miguel Bridges trade to the New York Knicks, and then there was a trade involving the Rockets and the Nets. A lot of picks going to Houston, and then this rumor started that Kevin Durant could be headed to Houston, and the reason why Houston made the deal with the Brooklyn Nets is so the Suns can get all of their picks back that they gave the Nets.
So here's what Rico and I talked about this right when the Suns got eliminated.
That was real confusing. When I saw that, I'm like, wait, so you're basically just trading picks? Like,
yeah,
what?
Oh yeah, because
I'm like, okay, am I tired? Did I miss the player? Because I didn't see anything.
So here's your problem, right?
You got a cheeseburger, hold the burger.
Bradley Beal is a no trade clause. You can't deal him. Devin Booker's your best player by a wide margin. You don't want to trade him. They have to get out of the Kevin Durant business. Durant to Houston. Go back to Dallas, or wherever the hell you're from. Houston's ready to win. They need the 1A option. The Suns have no outs. Trading Durant is their only out. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. I would not sleep on that.
Yeah, and I guess you would just somehow have to convince Kevin Durant it was his idea, and then he'll make the move. Because right now, he doesn't, but you have a team that pretty much does not want him there because
they can't. It doesn't work.
Right. This was an epic disaster. The key pieces you gave up are now, one is now going to be a New York Knick. The other is I feel Cam Johnson's just in New Jersey, the Brooklyn Nets saying, please, somebody come help me.
I wish the Pistons could call on Cam Johnson.
That is somebody that I would say, if you could make a deal and bring him here, I think that would help the team out tremendously.
Oh, you mean like I talked about all last offseason before they basically allowed the Nets to re-sign Cam Johnson because you took Joe Harris's dead body?
That's right. You had an opportunity, but you actually helped them in order to sign Cam. But yes, you could. He's somebody who can hit the three. I'm sorry, David. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I'm not mad at. Okay. All right. I mean, that's a little much.
There's a rumor here on Rob Dillingham. There's some buzz here that a top 5 team might take a reach on Rob Dillingham. So I ask you, outside of Atlanta,
Detroit.
Who is it?
Detroit.
San Antonio?
Detroit.
Oh.
You met with him. You need scoring, you need shooting, and you need someone who can break down a defense. Well, that's Dillingham's special. I'm not telling you it's the right thing, but I think there's absolutely some mutual interest here. And you don't bring him in if you have no interest in taking.
It just means that you now have a 3-guard rotation. You put Cade back there with Ivy and Dillingham. It can work.
Man, Ivy's already got a storage unit. Come on, man.
His godfather played with the Lions? Grandfather played with the Lions? He's a Detroiter through and through.
Not for long. Not if they take Dillingham.
Let's close it out with this rumor here, because there was a lot of buzz. Paul George out there, 76ers, maybe Orlando. But the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, you mean another team that was right where the Pistons were at the start of the rebuild?
Oh, yeah. Houston's also talked about with Paul George.
Right. Golden State?
Golden State's prepared to offer him a 4-year max deal.
This is where, if Klay Thompson has a brain, take less money, man. Mm-hmm. Please. Do you want to win? Mm-hmm. Take less money. Go win. I think Golden State would be a masterstroke. I think it'd be beautiful. And here's what it would mean. That somebody was dumb enough to take the dead body of Andrew Wiggins. Oh, wait. That's us.
Right. But see, if you're Klay may be in it for the money because he already has the rings. So
then I
get one last major paycheck.
I'd make the emotional decision and let him go. And then I would immediately vilify him to my fan base.
I would too. No. It's just,
we offered him this.
No,
he said no.
It really boils down to, Clay, seriously, what can't you buy right now?
What's important to you?
What do you need that you're not getting? Because you're not going to get that money, but you may get at least 1 or 2 more rings and really solidify yourself in NBA history, or you can go get a giant paycheck in Orlando and Mickey Mouse ears.
And those are your...
Okay, I don't really no. The answer's no. All right. Hungry Howie's. And I can say factually, Kenny was so excited about the Kenny Cott pizzas. I walked into work today, and what was Kenny mowing on? It was, in fact, the pickle bacon ranch pizza. All I know is he and Evan destroyed an entire pie. Yeah, it's pickles, bacon, ranch. Hey, if that's your thing, God bless. Backyard burger pizza. It's the flavors of summer routine. Now, if you're Italian like me, this is a no-go. But if you're more exotic like Kenny Cott and Evan Jenkins, right in their wheelhouse, and for a limited time only, you can order these. Hell, order them for the draft. Eat your feelings when the Pistons draft someone you've never heard of. Your choice of flavored crust, $14.99 each. But get it while it's hot, because they ain't going to be around long. HungryHowies.com, or download that app to start your order now. It's Hungry Howie's. Well, I got to tell you something, David. Wojo's holding court in the bullpen. He wants to trade Skubal. So you can add noted columnist and Detroit media legend Bob Wojnowski to the he's an idiot pile, right? We're all idiots together. Now Wojo's joined the army. Wojo wants to trade Skubal. Man.
Yes.
Man.
Okay.
I had to do a double take because I thought you said Jeff. I'm like, no, you said Wojo. Yeah.
I can't believe Wojo wants to trade Skubal. What a moron.
I feel really good about myself now.
Why is that?
No, the whole because I'm like back when the Tigers. I'm like, man, they need to trade a pitcher. You're like, let's wait till July. We couldn't make it to July.
Well, when you're batting Mark Canha at cleanup,
hey, he's a cornerstone.
No.
And you will put some respect on his name. I didn't say he was the face.
FOF. Matt Vierling is a cornerstone face of franchise.
I didn't say he was the face. I just said he's a cornerstone.
Yeah, at AAA. All right. So, David, a few ticket texts. Rieger's, I don't know what he's doing. He's eating. He's attempting to plug in. What? Please.
Someone says, isn't Tarek Skubal part of the rebuild? Okay.
I can't explain it to you again.
Yeah,
I'm done.
exactly.
Too late in the day.
Someone else says, take Skubal's answer. It tells me that he is out of Detroit.
No, that's now I'm going to step in. Rieger asked him the question last night. It is not fair to make that statement. I can say I wish he would have answered it differently, but I'm not going to impugn his character on one answer. Not going to do that. Did it give me the warm and fuzzies? No, sir, it did not.
Well, do you think he wants to be here?
I don't know.
We don't know. That's
you
the
talked
thing.
to him last night.
And, Will Birchfield reminded me of something last year, and I totally forgot, but there was a time, like really close to the trade deadline, when Skubal looked like he wanted to say more, and we thought he was going to say more, and he just said the fans were freaking amazing today, and it was almost like a goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
It really was. And as soon as Will brought it up to me, I'm like, wait a second, I remember that now. And listen, I'm not saying he loves it, doesn't love it. What I do know is it's so simple. His timeline doesn't match their timeline, especially after Scott Harris goes on the podcast yesterday and is talking about Max Clark. Like, when are they going to win? It's not in Skubal's timeline. They're going to win next year? So if they don't win next year, he will be wasted if you keep him. Well, and if you think about trading him, there's no better time than to trade him than right now.
And I was about to say, the longer you hold on to him, the less you're going to get back in return because the other team won't have the control.
Or for the people who don't want to deal him, there's a simple out. Sign him.
Right, but Boris clients.
No. And I've highlighted. I'm a big dummy, but I do so. I show up some days prepared. I highlighted 10 deals that Boris has voided 2 or more years of arbitration in the last 10 years with some very famous clients of his, including one being Steven Strasburg. The point I'm making is sign him, keep him if you like.
Well, hold on. From Skubal's point of view, though. Like, he's got how many years of dominance do you think he has?
Dude, his next pitch could be his last.
100%.
I don't know.
He's got the tendon deal. He had the Tommy John. However, like, does he really want to stay here? And again, I'm not speaking for him, but does he really want to stay here in this situation? Because I ask you, when will the Tigers win? And I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm just asking.
I don't have these answers. I just think.
Why not?
Why does Rieger keep asking questions nobody has answers to?
No, I don't know.
He does that every day. Do you think he'll be traded? Do you think he wants to be traded? When will they win?
I just think the Jim Bowden and Lynn Henning thing was interesting. And
very interesting.
I do think it's incumbent upon Harris to listen.
I
don't think people who say let's trade Skubal are stupid. Sorry, I don't.
Who said they're stupid? I don't think they're stupid.
No, I think they're smart.
Oh, there are some people who say that.
Well, no, if anybody says trade him no matter what you get, that's stupid. But anybody that says listen.
And fun note, no one says that.
I know.
Right. Of course not.
Well,
but isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting that 3 weeks ago, because we were on cutting edge, we were on the cutting edge. We were the first to talk about do you trade him, do you not, right?
Right.
Like this station. And there was a lot of, you're idiots. But now isn't it funny, the closer we get to the deadline, the more the steam's picking up.
And allegedly, they're getting overtures from around the league about Skubal. Okay, then you got to listen.
Pick up the phone and call.
I don't think not listening is in the best interest of the franchise.
Of course not. Just don't put it on the Fox Theater marquee.
Right, like
Scooble
Avila
for
used to.
sale. Scooble for sale.
Somebody
Whoop,
take
whoop,
Scoobs
whoop.
off
You
my
tried
hands.
to trade
Flying off the
Castellanos. We
shelf.
can't do
There he
anything for him.
goes.
Oh.
By the way,
Yeah,
just
don't do
real
that
quick, and I'm not inciting a riot here. I
Oh,
just,
When Dave Dombrowski was back, it was good to see him, and that Phillies
no,
team is entertaining.
no.
Is that what you're going to say?
No, I was just really disappointed. Scott Harris, even yesterday, still going with we don't want to block guys.
Yeah, I heard
and the
that.
free agents didn't work out. And I'm like, okay, wait. Chapman's going to be a 6-WAR player. Oh, wait. Bellinger's got an 800 OPS.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. JD is annihilating the baseball. Who are the free agents that didn't work out that anyone wanted, Scott?
The
Well, maybe
JD
he's talking
Martinez,
about other free agents.
Those are the only three that were really
Of
mentioned.
course, but maybe he's thinking about somebody else.
Well, the JD Martinez thing is what really still grinds my ass.
Because
it would've
he's
been
also
perfect.
a leader.
Right.
And if he didn't want to come to Detroit, respect, but you never called.
No, see, this is what Scott. If he's looking for a way out of this, as far as the words that he keeps getting caught with, just let it be known or say it yourself. Like, we looked and they didn't want to come, or they wanted a lot more to come here than they wanted to go somewhere else.
To be fair, people,
that's all you have to do.
People do
Make
say
it up if you want.
People do say with the JD thing, he told the Giants media that he didn't want to go to San Francisco because that ballpark's too big, and he would have hit 260 with only 20 homers, and everybody would have said he sucked.
But he told them, right?
He did.
Which means they called him, right?
Correct.
Shut up.
But
We
he
didn't
supposedly also said he wanted to go to a contender, and he's on the Mets.
And
Hey,
guess
listen,
what?
there were
You
game
could have
on a
offered him a 2-year deal when they offered him a 1.
That's very
Make
true.
him say no.
But I do think what
you
you
were
said
busy
there,
offering Maeda's dead body 2 years. What would the problem be?
Oh, wow.
It's still the elephant in the room is the ballpark affects ball players. And I do think that might have been a factor for
You know what else is
Castellanos said?
interesting? They have a ballpark that's not great in certain instances for power, even though by park factor it's neutral. Interesting, they have no speed.
Oh, that's true.
They
But
really have
good
nothing.
defense.
They have
Well-
Tarek Skubal. That's all they have. And Riley
they
Green.
don't.
That's all they got.
They have a good defense.
All right,
You know-
what's coming up
you know
next?
what, by
Because
the way,
Rico's
Rieger-
getting upset.
Before it gets lost, great question last night.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
And we played the audio. It was
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, we could play. Oh, Stoney was involved.
Stoney
in the
even
question.
helped out because
Yeah.
apparently
Why don't you do that
you
on
needed the
our
assist.
show?
Yeah. It's a team effort. Will Birchfield.
I
was
heard
involved.
you guys cornered Scooble and he
We
had to
did.
ask for security to
We
get out.
did. He
Yeah,
did.
he felt very uncomfortable.
Tigers PR yelled at us afterwards. It was
Restraining
fantastic.
order
Different
today.
deal with you and cookies. You guys have no respect for this organization.
Oh my!
Yeah. How about cookies this morning? That was amazing.
What do you mean? It was a simple question.
It was.
He didn't do anything wrong.
I was thinking about asking AJ post game, but
All right, I'm done.
Hey.
All right, what's coming
We're
up
going
next?
to talk Tigers. We're going to talk Pistons. I'll tell you exactly who the Pistons are drafting, and I will tell you this: if he Langdon doesn't trade the pick tonight, then he's already -1 in my mind.
While I'm driving home, I need this from you. You ready?
Yeah.
What happens if they take a Tellem client? 248.
ooh,
All
we're
right.
going to address that for sure.
97.
We'll tell him what to do.
Before Team USA was Team USA, they were kids, not your average kids. They were waking up at 5 a.m., training on weekends, trading recess for reps, parties for practice. Now their moment has finally arrived. It's time to see what they are made of, and you can watch it with Xfinity Mobile. Connect to Wi-Fi speeds up to a gig or on the Xfinity to go, so you can stream the action and never miss a moment. All the most powerful